This video is about the patience to show up and do the work. And I think the best way to start talking about it is to just give a quick update about what I work on lately, which is I have 2 newsletters, and I also work on the recorded music. And then on top of it, I study mostly classical guitar. And there are a lot of parallels between the music study and the process of, say, creating newsletters and posting online and doing this work. So one of the newsletters is called The Most Creative, which talks about doing your most creative work. The other one is the Sunday Bagel, which is more of my creative writing and more life lessons with the music is put in there too. So it's kind of a digest of the music. And then the music lately, mostly ambient style music. A bit of some stuff is a little more funky and abstract, but it's mostly within it's mostly contained into an area. And the thing that I'm curious about and wanting to share a bit insight into is this world where you make things and you just can't help but want people to like them. And I sometimes thought that this was only limited to people who, say, have a newsletter or they have a brand and they post on that brand. But then I realized that I think it applies anyone who's dipped their toes into posting online and they might, even if you post stuff about your family, pictures of your kids, you're going to run into this issue where you might post something. No one likes it. Well, the algorithm killed it, right? And so it's kind of nice to know that it's not just people who are really working their asses off at the creative world who get into these pickles. It's a lot of people. And this is the part that there's the expression which says, and it kind of is used a lot in the mindfulness world, which is put more emphasis on the process rather than the result. And that might be traced back to something like the journey is the way, or the journey is the reward, and stuff that you might read on the tea label when you have an herbal tea. And it really does go out the window very quickly when you hit post. And it's quite frustrating because you know better than that. And you know that it's a long game to do this work. Yet you want everything to happen right away. And you want that approval. But no one's going to give you that approval. You can't find it outside of yourself. Look at even celebrities. They're probably constantly searching for approval. You think that they would be settled after winning certain awards and passing certain milestones, albums? No, they just keep going. They just keep achieving more, right? It seems to be the theme of life, is that you just keep you reach something and then you're not satisfied anymore, and it's time for the next challenge. And so that's why the work that I had done on the classical guitar has been very enlightening into this whole thing, because I found that for a while I wondered what's the value in learning classical music in general, because so many people do it way better, right? I'll never be able to play like Sharon Isbin or Paco de Lucia, the master, machine gun fingers. And that's not really the point. It's the point is that you are going to sit down and take a stab at learning this stuff, and your chops will get better. It'll carry on to so many things. Your understanding of music increases, of just for even forgetting reading music or anything like that, because you actually don't have to read. You don't have to read music to play classical guitar. You can play with tablature, but the idea of the phrasing and getting melodies, what they call, into your fingers, those things start to become the lessons. But what happens is that when you start a piece, you fall into the trap, the same trap that happens with everything else, which is that you get a little impatient, that you feel like you deserve to move a little faster than this. And so what happens is you might be making a few subtle mistakes early on, and you will not fix them because you want to move on. You want to get this done. Come on, I got stuff to do. Because it can take weeks to get through a small amount of a piece. Then once you start to get the feel for it, you accelerate a bit faster, but it can take quite a while, especially if someone's busy and they've got a lot of responsibilities. They're not playing all day. They only have a bit of time to chip away at stuff, so it'll take longer. But you get into the bad habit of rushing yourself and expecting the result to come from thin air, and then you're now compounding the mistake. And so what happens with the art of posting and the art of being present online is you start rushing some form of success that's not really important. And the rushing makes you frustrated. And what happens is when you do something, for example, me just sitting on this call, which is a video, is a courageous act. I've taken the time to set up the camera, to talk, to communicate. I'm putting myself out there. And it's very easy to throw that out the window after you hit post, and then you check a few hours later and there's no likes, and you check 12 hours later, 1 like. That's the rushing of everything. That what happens is you now get discouraged because there's less likes. But who are you doing this for in the first place? That's the hard part. That is a larger question and a larger mind shift. And it's a very complicated one to unpack, because on one hand, we do this for the benefit of other people and this shared experience. But we're also doing it for ourselves and to not really prove to our former self or our future self anything. But realistically, as you keep improving at all these different things that you do, they are what you call the intrinsic reward, the reward of the inside, internally motivated. The person who only goes to the gym so they can look good for other people, I don't know about. I worry about those people. It's okay to go to the gym to be fit, look healthy, for other people as one part of it, a component. Extrinsic validation is always one part of it that's important. I do believe, for example, in the music stuff, that it is very nice when you can hear a compliment back, that someone says, "Wow, this music just taken me somewhere." It's a great joy. But if you were only to do that, well, some weeks no one has any time to listen to my music. But the important thing for me was I able to sit down and do that music. Come up with new ideas. Find a way to arrange them into something, and you get better every time you do it. You get better at trying different things. Some of the songs are not better than the others, the new ones, that I will admit, but you get better at talking down the inner critic, and you get better at the workflow and sort of like creating a system for it. And that is the process. The process is showing up to do that for yourself rather than for the process of making something, putting up and expecting likes. And a part of me does worry a little bit about the TikTok generation, right? Because that app seems to be designed to like inflate likes. I used to hear that a lot from younger people, like, oh, this video got in ways that would never really go on other networks. So the engineers of TikTok know that reward those content creators very quickly, get them lots of likes, get them motivated to do things. And that's very counter everything in this video. This video, if it had 5 likes, it should not be a big deal. 5 views, that should be okay. So I want you to think about that when you're working through creating art or taking up a new form of art. You're trying out dance or something, and it's just your body is not moving. The arms are not coordinating with the legs, right? It's going to take a long time. You're starting a new business. You're working to promote your business. You want to do videos, different things. Well, you have to know that it's going to take time and it's going to take the reps to make yourself more comfortable and to crack open the code, sort of like picking a lock slowly. You're picking away at it every time you sit down. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.